Alright, let's see what we got. We got 4 Abyss Eye. Appreciate the likes, guys. Got over 1,000 already. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the Abyss Eye. And 1 Ascended Heroes. Welcome in, Amy. How we doing, guys? Welcome, welcome. All right. Let me know when you're ready, Hunter. What's up, everybody? Welcome in. All right, Hunter is ready. Good luck, brother. Bronzor, Bennett, and Misty there. Infernape, Sea King, Mankey, Finizen, Chi-Yu, Firefish, Bronzong, last pack of Abyss Eye. Alright, that was a little tough there. Alright, let's go. Ascended Heroes, see if you pick up the slack on it for us. Welcome in, guys. If you're just joining us, we've got Glory of Team Rocket and Mega Dream Korean back in stock in the shop. And tomorrow we are getting the Simplified Chinese Crystal Gathering. Anticipating it being delivered tomorrow. Drampa, Solrock, and Victory Bell. Wow. Wow, wee wah. Let's get a pack of battle partners here. See if we can pick something up for you. Sprigatito, Beldum. Know that guy. Belly Bolt EX. It's something. What's up, watching? No problem, Hunter. Unfortunately, sometimes we get runs like that. Hey, watching, are you still in here? Are you in the chat, brother? Just wanted to see if you got my message about the Mega Start decks. There he is. No pressure or anything. Just want to let you know the supplier that I'm working with right now, he does have those available if you were still interested. Welcome in, guys. What is going on? How we doing so far this week? How we doing? Midway through, right? Hey, appreciate the shares. So, just another guy. What's going on? Silk, I don't know if you were here. I don't know if I was able to tell you before all that craziness the other day. The Chinese supplier said that the binders do have zippers. So I'm planning on getting a case. Plan on getting a case in the next order. I'm doing well. How are you? So that's what I was told, right? I will, you know, obviously do some checking. You know, I plan on getting a case regardless and just seeing how that goes. So I don't know, they have zippers, yeah. So, yeah, try to get that in, and then they have the new to his list is the First Partners Volume 2. First Partners Volume 2. So it's like the same thing that we've had with the First Partners Volume 1 with the Kanto starters and that kind of thing. This one has, you know, Johto and some of the others. So it's like that next iteration of starters. But in that one, instead of Brilliant Illusions with a pack of that in it, it's going to be a pack of the Stellar Crystal. So it'll be one of the slim packs from this set. So will be a little bit different from that standpoint, but other than that, it'll still have the card holder and all that. What's up, Maddie? Welcome in, welcome in. So if you're just joining us, guys, we got some Korean restock with the Glory of Team Rocket and Mega Dream. And tomorrow we're anticipating our delivery of the booster boxes of Crystal Gathering, which is the Chinese Prismatic Evolutions, as well as a case of the tin products. So in that you get the themed tin, 2 packs of the Crystal Guardian or Crystal Gathering, and a magnet pin, something like that, or a magnetic coin. So we do anticipate those coming in tomorrow. Appreciate the likes, guys. Welcome in, welcome in. Queue is open. We're caught up. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Also had the news that my supplier said the binders for the Crystal Gathering boxes, right? They call them boxes, right? Because it's actually packaged in a box with the binder, 8 packs, and 64 sleeves. So essentially enough for a deck, right? A deck of sleeves. All themed to one of the EVs, one of the evolutions. So that's going to be the next thing I anticipate adding into the shop. And then, so along with the binders, I do anticipate putting in another order for more VMAX Climax. You know, fun set to rip. Plus, it as of last night and checking the price list, that actually went down a few dollars a box. So, um, you know, even better since was already planning on ordering more. What's up, Oscar? Welcome in, everybody. How's it going, Jake? And don't forget, guys, we can anything that's in the shop we can send sealed or rip it on the live for you, whichever you prefer. And we ship out next business day. Baba Booey. How's it going, Julian? What's up, Evan? How's it going, Jen? Welcome in, guys. Yep, I've seen a lot of the games ending in draws. The Portugal, I saw Portugal ended up tying. Yeah, I would have anticipated a little bit more parity, right? Like, because they expanded the field and let more teams in. I would have thought, you know, especially teams that typically made the World Cup, you know, when it was a much smaller group, you would anticipate those teams beating these other teams pretty easily, that otherwise wouldn't normally make the World Cup in the past. But hasn't turned out that way. You know, you play strategically well enough and maybe get a little lucky here and there, and you know, you can survive with a tie. it's just so different from like any other sport because it's not obviously it's not as easy to score goals necessarily, and since you can end the game in a tie, um, I feel like other sports, like let's say basketball, for instance, like even if if you're playing against a team that's supposed to be, um, let's say, not as good, right? Even if you have an off game, you should still be able to beat them. Like, and it's not going to end in a tie. It's not an option. But you get, um, soccer, and you can kind of manage the possession and all that kind of stuff and limit scoring opportunities, and you can end in a tie. You can't just hold on to the ball or whatever it might be in other sports and let the time run out, sort of thing. So it has a lot more opportunity for teams that aren't necessarily considered like international powers. What's up, Matthew? Welcome in, guys. Awesome dad, Bob. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of skill. There's a lot of skill to it, and methodical, strategy. It's just, for me, sometimes it's when it's not like on this type of level, or if it's not like one of the major like championships type thing, it's harder for me to get like invested, if that makes sense. That, and I'm a hockey fan, so back in the day they used to be able to tie, right? They used to have you played 60 minutes. If it was tied, it would go to overtime, and if it was still tied at the end of overtime, it's a tie. Well, they finally changed that because nobody liked that, and I'm not really sure why they maintained it for so long. But when they changed it, I was okay with them changing it so that there would at least be a decision one way or the other. But I'm not a fan of the shootout. Just like with soccer, I don't think it should come down like it's a true team sport. I don't think it should come down to like penalty kicks. To have it come down to penalty kicks, you put it on whatever five people and your goalie, and I think that doesn't truly decide who the better team is. I don't think. So that's the only thing. That the ties leave me like hanging. It's like being left on a cliffhanger with a show. You're like, okay, like I need some feeling of closure here. So yeah, with hockey, I don't like the shootout either, because I guess it goes three aside at first, and then so you put it on three of your skaters and your goaltender. I'm like, you got 15 other guys on the bench, or 12 other guys, I guess I should. 12, yeah, 12 other guys. Like, I don't know. They changed like in other things like baseball. They changed it so when games went to extra innings, to try to help things along with actually scoring runs and that sort of thing, by changing some of the rules. I wonder if if soccer would ever entertain something like that. Because I know when you get into the elimination rounds, obviously you can't have a tie. And so they do, two 15-minute halves after that, so they play an extra 30 minutes. I think. And then if it's still tied after that, then it goes to the shootout or penalty kicks. But I wonder if they would, you know, if they would change that. I don't know. I don't know what that would look like. Maybe do something like lacrosse. You have only so many people can be on like one section of the field for your team at one time. Maybe they could do something like that. You know, that way it gives a little bit more advantage to the offensive, you know, attacking team. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. It's like a never-ending game. So, just my random thoughts. Not that anybody's taken them into consideration for actually changing rules, but I mean, the people want to see goals, you know? I think that's, yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things, you know? I think you could get even more people behind it if, you know, if you help inject some offense in there. Dakota, how'd your quiz go the other day? I forgot to ask you. How's all your studying and whatnot? Good. Hello, hello, welcome in from Russia. Yeah. You working, hey, there you go. Goal. Are you, you're working full-time and doing the school thing? What's up, Riker? Oh, wow. Yep. Yeah, that's a lot of hours. How's it going, Mary? Welcome in, everybody. Queue's open if you guys are looking to get some live pack openings in, or we can always send it sealed to you if you'd like to rip it at home or hold on to it for a sealed collection or whatever it might be. I bet, Dakota, I bet. I mean, I worked, when I went back for my master's, I did, you know, I was just working 9 to 5, so I wasn't working that many hours. I was just 40 hours a week. And I did not have a child to take care of, so I can only imagine. Yeah, it is, right? I mean, it's, you gotta juggle it with all your other responsibilities. You know, when you're younger, right? If you went right after high school or whatever, it's depending on your circumstances, right? It might be a little more, a little simpler. I wouldn't say necessarily easy, but it'd be a little less complicated. You know, you don't have as many responsibilities and commitments already. But yeah, when you already have a lot of things established and all that, then yeah, yeah, um, it's interesting. You know, it's a whole, you know, like I was saying, if you have, you know, if you have a certain circumstance and you've got resources and support right after high school, you don't have to worry too much about anything else other than school. But when you're an adult, you know, you're strapped with some responsibilities that don't go away just because you decide to go back to school. So, you know, juggling a lot with that. Plus, you got to make sure to take care of yourself and have some time where you're not like, you don't have like a load on you mentally, whether it be from uh, studying or taking care of your kid or work stuff. You know, you got to have some time for your brain to relax. After high school is your pending adulthood. Yep, you are in limbo for sure. Yeah, I went to community college right after high school. Um, but I worked too. You know, I didn't work full time, but I worked pretty much the entirety of being in college as well. You know, my parents weren't just gonna like let me sit there and not do it. You know, had to pay for my own stuff. Everyone doesn't know how to relax. It just continues to think of my to-do list. Yeah, that just sounds like being an adult. Unfortunately, constantly. It's just constantly all that's on my mind. It's like, okay, what do I got to do next? What do I got to do after work? You know, after I do that, what do I have to do? Like, is there something I can do while I'm waiting for this, or something like that? 3 part-time jobs in college. Yeah. I think the you know, when I'm saying like responsibilities, it's the stakes are higher, right? The stakes are higher when you don't have, you know, your parents or, you know, some other type of support system, knowing that you just, all you have to do is go to college. Like, you don't have to be, you know, making enough to pay for the mortgage and pay your car payment and feed your kid and all that on top of it, you know? Might be a slight workaholic, yeah. It's better than the opposite, right? If you had a hard time being motivated to work and all that, then I think that would be a much more challenging existence. Bills are optional for some, yeah. Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a long time since I knew what an optional bill was. But we all, you figure it out. You find what works for you and how you can balance it. So it's definitely crazier, I think, these days, trying to get like, trying to be able to get to a place where you can afford a house or whatever, or even just being able to afford rent in a nice area, all that. It's just such a different animal compared to where I was 13 years ago. 14 years ago. Like I wouldn't be able to, I don't think I'd be able to afford my house with the current mortgage rates and what the current market price is for it, even with my job now. And I make about twice what I made when I first bought the house. So, I think that kind of just puts it in perspective. Miss when I was a kid and things weren't so expensive. Yep, exactly. Exactly. I mean, I get like, the whole things go up over time, right? Prices go up. 2-bedroom apartment. I mean, it's over 2K a month. Jeez, yeah. Way out of budget. Yeah. It's crazy. It really is. I just don't understand. It makes sense, okay, if everything goes up gradually, right? If the trajectory is the same, right? And it's proportionate in terms of cost of living going up and like your pay. But if your pay, if pay starts leveling out, I guess I should go the other way if you can see me. If pay starts leveling out, but the cost of living, especially being, for shelter, stays, on the same trend, the disparity keeps getting larger and larger. Yeah. Yeah, the pay has been stagnant. I mean, I don't make, I guess I've been with the company maybe over 3 years now. I don't make a whole lot more than when I started with them. Definitely not outpacing inflation. So to make it work, you gotta find a way these days. But yeah, like I'm saying, the disparity between housing costs and the trend of housing costs and where pay and salaries, it just widens the gap and makes it even harder. And you would think people in general, like, right, since we're a capitalist economy, what that means is that people have to prioritize the cost of housing, so they're not going to be buying all these other things that are necessities. So you would think that a lot of these companies would want or help, lobby the government to do certain things to help people, because otherwise they're not spending money on their company's products because they don't have the means anymore. So, the rising tide lifts all boats kind of thing. It's like, yeah, well, if it's not rising for other people, then they're not going to be spending more money at your business. So these companies got to get with the program or nobody going to be working. Yeah. Well, yeah. And then on top of it, it's so crazy. You got that, and then you got the AI, the implications or potential implications of AI. impact on the workforce, but then also like they keep popping up data centers all over the place, and it makes the cost of energy go up. So like you might not change the way you consume energy, but the cost goes up, so automatically you're paying more. I mean, I'm pretty sure my bills had to have gone up like on average somewhere around 20 to 30% a month because of it. I'm in one of those boats with the Swiss cheese holes. Yeah. You're taking on water. Yeah. It's just, yeah, it's tough right now, and I don't know. I'm not an economist, so I don't know what can be done that would really help things overall. But the cost of housing is just getting, it's just so out of control comparatively. It's disproportionately increasing compared to wages, and the increase in wages is stagnant or stagnating, right? It's slowing down. It's not matching the same trend. So yeah, it's tough. It's interesting, how much things change about the kind of stuff, like the articles you read on internet and all that, like as you get older, you're over here reading stuff from Wall Street Journal or all that, instead of spending more time on like social media or gossip articles or entertainment type stuff. My concerns, you get the stress that these data centers put on infrastructure, being both the yeah, exactly, Jordan. Yeah. My concerns about the strain all that's putting on our water, all the utilities, infrastructure, water, electricity, because these places use millions of gallons of water per day. I mean, just think about that. If the infrastructure that you currently live on all of a sudden had to accommodate that, well, that's going to take some investment on their part, right? They're going to probably need to employ more people so that they can monitor things more, they can be more proactive about maintenance, and they can be ready to make repairs or whatever if needed. And then it's just, and in order to do that, they got to increase the cost of providing water. So then you're like, I don't know of a data center or anything that close to me, but cost of electricity's gone up, the cost of water has gone up pretty substantially. Mine is up very close to double, like water costs. So it's just, it's crazy. So I can't imagine if you got a data center close to you, like how much that's going to cost. And a lot of the places actually have done severe damage to their water supply. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to impact everybody. I mean, nobody's, appreciate the follow. Is it Mystical? Michael? I don't know how to pronounce your name. Appreciate it. Yeah, nobody's gonna be able to get away from it. Nobody's gonna be able to avoid it. Relatively slow, Jordan. Relatively slow so far, but we're chatting. I'm yapping. You know, it's what I'm here for. I'll be yapping whether I'm opening cards or not. I think we'll be at least. I expect a little bit busier tomorrow night, because we get the Chinese version of Prismatic Evolutions, the Crystal Gathering. Our order for our initial stocking of that is supposed to come in tomorrow. So we should have a case of booster boxes, a case of the tins. So I anticipate a little more activity once those come in and we get those in the shop. We did get some Korean product restocked. We got the Gloria Team Rocket. We've got Mega Dream in there. Those just arrived today. So I will say, by going through this supplier, they shipped it out on their Tuesday, which, you know, they hit Tuesday before us because it's like 13. Have you pulled a Pika from Gem 5? Not the big one. Not the Captain Pika, no. We've only opened a few boxes. The initial stock I had was like 6 boxes. I think one of them might have gone sealed. And then we've only been into 1 or 2 boxes of the new one. You want to bet? Yeah, I bet. I mean, it's a pretty valuable card right now. I think it's probably close, like raw, it's like $300. So the cost of a box compared to the value of the biggest hit is pretty large disparity. We haven't hit actually haven't hit any of like the exclusive ones. So you have that in you have that the Captain Pikachu, then you have the is it Quaxwell? Yeah, Quaxwell. It's the second evolution out of those starter lines. So Quaxwell, Ferrigato, and Fuecoco. Fuecoco's evolution. I forget his name. I got Fuecoco and Skeledirge. I don't know the middle one. I'm feeling lucky tonight. I'm always feeling like we can, you know, I'm 1 pack away from hitting something big, you know? When we pulled the Mega Charizard out of Korean Inferno, you know, the box was just sitting next to me for like a week. So I'm sure there's all sorts of good stuff sitting around me just waiting to be opened. Welcome in, Jinx. Appreciate the likes, guys. All right, Jordan. Got 2 boxes of the Gem 5. 2 boxes of Gem 5. Are we opening both of them? Are we ripping both? Yes. All right. Here we go. Good luck. box. Alright, empty box 2. Alright, guys, we got 2 boxes of Gem 5 for Jordan. Good luck here. We're searching for Pika. El Capitan Pika, Milcery, Raboot, Sunflora, Tatsugiri. I was annoyed, only 4 cards per pack, and loved it. Yep. Yeah, I mean, they got different patterns, different, you know, different hollow variations, all that kind of stuff. Houndoom, Horsey on the stamp. Welcome in, Rob. Magneton. There's a Pika on the, I like to call Kaleidoscope. Quaxwell. Latios. Growlithe. Ceruledge on the stamp. Houndoom, Fampy, Applin, Fergato, Horsey, Tatsugiri. Is this Obama Snow? Which one is this guy? It's a very cool art rare. Ah, Sea Titan. Sea Titan. Another Pika. Milcery. Latios. Quaxwell. Sea Titan. Thank you, Dakota. Sunflora. Sea Titan. Ah, see? Skarmory. Growlithe. Watchroll. Spheal. Stunfisk. Growlithe. There's an evolution, gotcha. Fergato, Joltik, Milcery. Ceruledge, Sea Titan, Stunfisk, and Milcery again. Tatsugiri. Hey, it's a double hit box with the Skarmory. Very nice. Let's go, Jordan. I know it's not the Pika, but I love the double hit boxes. Especially this one. I know a lot of people in the English set were chasing this. It's one of the ARs. Yeah, it's a very, very crispy hollow. take double hitters all day. Magneton. There's Skarmory. And Skarmory Stamp there to go with your AR. Raboot. Actually, Sea Titan. Quaxwell, sorry. Houndoom. Appreciate the follow, Millennial Misery. Milcery. Watchroll. It's a very interesting username there. Fampy again, and the Timber. Alright, last pack on the first box here. Sunflora, Houndoom, Sunflora again, and Magneton. Alright. Box 2 here. Spheal, Milcery. Chansey on the stamp. Growlithe, Watchroll, Chansey, Stunfisk. Apple, Quaxwell, Growlithe. It's your boy. Welcome in, guys. Queue is open. I can't remember this guy's name. He evolves from Spupa. That's... What's up, Zach? How's your week going, brother? Latios. Vivillon. Okay. That sounds right. Timber. Rabbit. Quaxwell. Long. Yeah. I feel you, man. I feel you. Tatsugiri. Birdie. Come on, Pika. Joltik. Stunfisk. Magneton stamp. Brief to go live. Appreciate the share. Welcome in, guys. Skarmory. Tatsugiri. Ceruledge. Titan. Ferrigato. Pika on the Master Ball. I think you got 3 variations of the Pikas now. Magneton, Applin, Vivillon, Ferrigato. This box is making us sweat. Fampy. Quaxwell. I always forget this one's name. Raboot. Quaxwell. Vibrava. Ceruledge. Vibrava. Perfect timing. Perfect timing, Dakota. Thank you for the assist, Vibrava. You know, one of these days I'll like really learn Vivillon, Milcery, Spheal. It's just so many of them. There's over 1,000. You know, back in my day, there were only 151, you know? Timber, Spiel, Sea Titan. It's the Applin AR. Very cool artwork. Kind of makes me want to go like to an orchard and go apple picking. I don't know if any of y'all have those kind of things by you. I've never actually done it, but we've got like places, some farms and stuff by me. You can go and pick your own produce. Yeah, very nice hollow. All right, 2 more here. Joltik, Tatsugiri, Timber, Joltik again. All right, last pack magic for you, Jordan. Milcery, Raboot, Latios, I should say, and the Applin stamp. That's fitting. Jordan, I'm going to throw you in another pack as well. It's Korean Battle Partners. We can open it live or send it to you sealed if you'd like. It's up to you. You let us know. No pressure. Feel free if you want it, if you would like to have it sealed. Let's open it. There we go. Sounds good. Good luck. Haven't opened anything, hit anything real big from it yet, but there we go. I don't know the name, but it's an AR. We take those. Another AR. Big dubs. There we go, Jordan. It's a little cactus. There you go. You see, there we go. Sometimes it's hard finding the right angle on my lighting here. Get that hollow. Very cool. All right, let's see. We got 2 like blue ones, and then 2 with a lot of green in there. Oh, there you go. You got more to add to it now. So a little cute cactus there. We got Applin in the orchard, Sea Titan in the Arctic, and Skarmory. Very cool. That's your top loaded hits. Our sleeved, we've got a bunch of stamped cards here for you. Applin, Vibraven, your Pika, Magneton, Vivillon, Chansey, Skarmory, Milcery, another Pika, Ceruledge, Pika Reverse, and your Horsea. Thank you, Jordan. Appreciate you. all caught up. Queue is open. Queue is open, guys. So if you're contemplating ordering, there's currently no wait. What's up, Iggy? How we doing, guys? Welcome, welcome, welcome. What's up, Zugio? How we doing, man? Let's see. That's not a bad thing. I'd rather have not much going on than way too much, right? For those of you rolling through or just joining us, we got the Korean Glory of Team Rocket and Mega Dream restocked in the shop. That came in today. Tomorrow we are expecting our Crystal Gathering initial shipment. So that's going to have booster boxes and the tin items. So that comes with a themed tin to particular evolution, plus 2 packs of the Crystal Gathering set and a magnet. So I believe the booster boxes work very similar in this case, right? Because it's not always the same as with Simplified Chinese how the booster boxes work. But from what I've seen on openings, you still have the 3 Pokeballs, possibility of a Master Ball reverse, and an SAR. So there's a lot of hype. We've got the exclusive Sylveon SAR. Exclusive Sylveon SAR to chase. We do plan on at least getting a case of the binder gift boxes. Those come with a binder, 8 packs, and sleeves. So it's sort of close to like a or not a UPC, an ETB in English product, except in this case you get a binder, the 8 packs. There's no guarantee promo, but then you get the 64 sleeves. So along with that, we're planning on getting some stocking some more VMAX Climax. What's up, Trembly? How's it going, brother? What's up, Diamond Givens? Jericho, how we doing, everybody? What's up, Ethan? So again, expecting our crystal gathering shipment to come in tomorrow. Provided that it does, it will be up in the shop for our stream. I don't anticipating having the listings go live until the stream. You know, I'd like for at least the beginning part, so we can get get some openings on the live. What's up, Noah? Too blessed to stress. Then we might see about ordering the volume 2 of the First Partners products. Those will come with very similar, except instead of Brilliant Illusions, it's going to be a pack of Stellar Crystal. And you have a chance at any of the 9 starters in the second volume of that one. So I know that includes the Johto ones, which Cyndaquil, Chikorita, Totodile. I don't know the others, so let's just... Oh, it might be like Turpig and all that from the black and white era. That girl mama. What's up, guys? Welcome in. So I know this one, Volume 2, will have the Johto. A very subtle silver and gold theming with the colors in the backgrounds. If I had to guess, maybe that's Ruby Sapphire. And then I think the Pearl, maybe. So We will have those probably in too. I'll probably get at least try to get at least a handful there so we can open some. See what our luck looks like there. Anybody out there have thoughts on how like official Pokemon events, such as like their tournaments and that kind of stuff, are no longer allowing vendors to sell graded Pokemon cards? No more slabs of Pokemon cards at official Pokemon events. What do we think? What do we think about that? Anybody out there? Yeah, I think it's interesting because they're kind of looking at it, right? And now, so I assume most vendors probably have a lot of other outlets, right? Other than just those events, or they just, they just won't include those events in their schedule anymore. I don't know that they put a reasoning out there. I think what they're trying to do is have a little influence, or at least try to separate themselves from the secondary market craziness. I think they also banned sales of cards, or the sale of an individual card over $1,000. I think they're trying to push things, at least in those particular events, back to being more affordable, right? I don't think at any point really Pokemon has the intention of having their brand get into this point where they have so many of these cards that are such high value that it seems like it's unattainable for the average person to partake in the collecting and all that. Because you go to a card show and they'll roll up to somebody's table and like they got all these things slabbed up and everything, and shoot, if all the cards are like $500 plus, as somebody that would be relatively new to the hobby, I wouldn't be able to comprehend that. Like, I've gone to a few card shows over time, and mixture of sports and trading cards and all that. But even in sports, there's so many cards that like they're cool and they're collectible for sure, but they're not. Most of them are not even over $100 cards. So like the last card show I went to, I got a card that was, I think it was just a parallel. It's nothing super rare. It wasn't numbered. It's not, but so it was graded in a PSA 10, and it was only like $45 or $50 for a player that I like. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. Like, I can live with a $40 to $50 card. But yeah, you start talking about these ones that, once they're slabbed up, they're like $500 plus. It's like, man, I'm not particularly a collector of slabbed cards either. And I don't submit cards just to grade and sell. That might have been viable 2-3 years ago, but now with how much everything going on with PSA, I don't particularly trust them. And one slabs off, my kid has zero interest in that. Yeah. Yeah, I never did as a kid either, and I don't really as a collector now. They're kind of, it's strange, you know. It's like, okay, I get having an official grade and then having it. Appreciate the follow, Daniela. I understand like having it graded and having it protected and sealed, that kind of thing, but um, you know, it's harder to display. It's harder to make look good. Like the card might still look good, but then you get to the top and it's just that PSA tag on it, and you're just like, it's not aesthetically pleasing, you know. So it kind of like takes you out of it, at least for me. Um, yeah, exactly. And I guess I think they do make binders of some sort where you can put like slabs into them, but I mean, it's just, I mean, that sounds kind of crazy, but it's got to be super bulky. There's just not a good way to really, and if you only have like a couple, there's really not a good way to display it, like one or two. Yeah, slab binder, it does. It's kind of crazy. I think they do make it though. I mean, the closest really I have is I put a lot of my um, more valuable cards, or cards that I enjoy more, in like one-touch cases, and then I put the one-touch cases in like a protective sleeve so it doesn't scratch the case all up. You know, when I like shuffle through them when I'm looking at them, and I think you can display them just fine in a one-touch, and it doesn't have like that label and all that. Like you can put it on a stand and it still looks pretty cool. You know, it's just like an acrylic type thing around it. For me, it's the PSA labels. They just like, I guess technically they've been updated, but they look like they could easily be from the 80s or early 90s. Like it's nothing special. And I get they're kind of, I guess, trying to stick with tradition, but I think what's it? Is it Tag that does the like the themed labels? I think depending on the card, it'll do like a more unique like print for it. So I did. I got a decent chunk of cards I've added to my own PC. I got a bunch of the tag teams from in Chinese. A lot of good ones in there. You got the Gengar Mimikyu, and with Reshiram and Zekrom. You got the legendary birds. Reshiram and Charizard. Zekrom and Pika. Mew and Mewtwo. Psyduck and Slowpoke. Got the Lucario. Machamp and Marshadow. Deoxys Espeon, Umbreon Darkrai, Zoroark, Greninja, Latios, Garchomp, and Giratina. Snorlax and Eevee. You got Piplup, Blastoise, Celebi, and Venusaur. Mega Sableye and Tyranitar. Muck and a Alolan Muck. Magikarp and Wailord. Sylveon Gardevoir. You got the Cleffa, Togepi. I can't remember this one's name. Rowlet, Executor, Solgaleo. Is it Serpine? And Venusaur? Brexen and Charizard, Dialga, Palkia, Arceus, Jiggly, Lopunny, Trevenant, and Desnoir. And I don't know these guys. But I missed out on all the the tag team era for collecting in English. So while that group of cards was not cheap, it's far less expensive than it was to get, you know, English versions. So, and I just enjoy the artwork of the tag teams. Yeah, the alt arts and all that kind of stuff are much more expensive, but you know, I don't need those. Just like the tag team stuff. So that is the latest addition to my personal. Yeah, tough. I mean, once I forget what was it, Sun and Moon era, right? It was like Sun and Moon was a big part of it because I think it was what, Cosmic Eclipse. What's up, Rosalina? Welcome in, guys. Queue's open. Queue's open if you like to get some rips in here. Korean restocks, Glory Team Rocket and Mega Dream, and tomorrow we are anticipating our Crystal Gathering set set to be delivered. We'll have booster boxes and the tins. What's up, Fletcher? So a lot of good stuff. Like I said, looking at getting a case of those, the binder boxes, binder gift boxes. What's up, Tremblay? Welcome back, welcome back. No worries, brother. Do what you gotta do, man. We're chilling. Missed it. I went through a bunch of the paying close attention to all this weather coming. Oh boy. Y'all got weather. Got weather in the forecast, man. Tremblay, you missed I just went through a bunch of these. I got a bunch of the tag teams. Tropical Storm, gotcha. Bunch of the tag teams in Chinese. A lot of cool stuff. Giratina, Eevees, Blastoise, Piplup, Venusaur, Wailord. Wind already starting to get crazy. Do you have like a lot of trees around you, Zach? Do you guys have to worry about, you know, like fallen trees around the houses or power lines? Fishing Gaming. You guys all stocked up on supplies, Zach? Smashed my shed in the back and probably the back of my house from trees. Gotcha. Yeah, I've got one tree. Honestly, I kind of want to take it down. The branches are like, unfortunately, no, I've been stuck on a job all week long. Gotcha. Yeah, I got one big tree in my back. Well, I've got two trees, but one's a real big one that's got, it's like towards the corner of my yard, so it's like overstretches my deck, and if it were to fall, it would smash into my bedroom. Yeah, and the branches I got big old branches sticking out over my neighbors to the side of me and behind me, so I need to get that stuff trimmed up because I'm more worried about branches breaking off and damaging any of their stuff. I guess technically that'd be homeowners insurance, but I don't know. Early start to hurricane season. Yeah, I was gonna say, usually isn't that closer to like late July, and then like peak is like September time frame, you know, because you have a lot of the, I guess, the pressure changes with, you know, temperatures starting to shift and all that. Yeah, the flooding that comes with it. Had a tree fall in their house. Yeah, took their chimney and destroyed their roof. Yep. Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, like, trees, I understand the point of why we have trees and everything. It's just, you know, when we start to build houses around the trees and kind of leave them in like precarious positions where they could do like a lot of damage, it just never seemed logical to me. You know, like, if you got properties that are not, and I'm on the corner, so like my neighbor doesn't have any trees like the one that's in my, or the two that are in my backyard. I guess the neighbor behind me's got one in their front yard. I don't know if it would do that much damage though. So I've been through so far, I'd say, was Laura a few years ago. Gotcha, and you went through Katrina. Yeah. Man, Katrina feels like so long ago now. What was that, like 2004, 2005? I feel like most neighborhood developments nowadays, they just like bulldoze all the trees. They take all the trees down. They don't leave any trees in anybody's yards anymore. You know, know, if they're going to be building a neighborhood, they're just like, you know what, if you want to plant a tree later, I mean, I guess go ahead, but we're not messing with that. Yeah, man, over 20 years ago, or about 20 years ago. It's crazy it was that long. Town Living likes to put a tree on their side of the sidewalk in front of every house. Yeah. I mean, it is a huge aesthetic thing. Like, don't get me wrong, you know, you have nice... It's a nice thing to have a tree and a big enough tree towards, like, the sidewalk, but doesn't block out the view of the house and all that. Because you have trees, so then they cast shade on the sidewalks, so then it's more appealing for people to, you know, walk and use the sidewalks and do all those kind of things, and it just gives it a different type feel. But I think a lot of places nowadays, they're like, it's just too much of a liability leaving trees around, so they just take them all out. At least the newer developments by me. Like, they used to have all sorts of wooded areas and all that, and tore them all down. All down to build up the houses, and none of the houses have any trees or anything in their yards, so. Been through many in between. Oh yeah, for sure. Only part you don't like living down there? Yeah. I mean, you gotta take the good with the bad, right? If you like everything else, or you're cool with everything else, it makes the one thing you're not cool with more substantial, I guess. Gotta balance out. We don't really get like hurricane type stuff up here. Like, we're in the part where, or I'm in the part, if we're really getting anything, it's just going to be heavy rains that are like left over from storms. We've had, I think, on like 2 occasions in my entire life, we got like school canceled because of how much rain there was. Like, there's just going to be too much potential flooding and all that kind of stuff for like school buses and all that kind of thing to get around. Other than that, they just send us to school. We've had, you know, like I said, a couple of those, couple impacts from hurricanes, we've had a couple blizzards, with like several feet of snow. You know, we get a little taste of everything where I am. Like I said, nothing that crazy with, like a full-on hurricane still. Usually, at most, it's like a tropical storm, or the remnants of whatever's left. Typically, if the hurricanes come up the East Coast like that, they, South Carolina and North Carolina stick out in such a way that it usually, like, the storm might hit it and then it kind of like kicks it back out into the Atlantic. And sometimes, depending on where it hits, it might hit the coast, bounce out, and then, you know, pick up more intensity and then come back, and it might get to us. Gosh, which one did that? It's the one that did a lot of damage to New Jersey, and had, you know, New York subways flooding and all that. I can't remember the name of it. But that's kind of like what happens with those storms. We don't usually get the full brunt. Occasionally get the blizzards. We'll get drought. You know, we get the occasional drought, and yeah. Don't want to go through a tornado? Yeah, I don't want to go through one either. We had a few of them over the last few years touch down in the area. Luckily not super close to me, but close enough You know, one of them was it like cross over the highway that I used to commute on for work. And you know, I remember driving home one day, and you could see there's just like kind of this random stretch of trees just all knocked down, and you can see it go from one side of the street to the other. But I mean, it was probably closer to like 10 miles away from where I live, but yeah, we get a little taste of all the seasons. You know, summer, spring, fall. We get snow. We get some good thunderstorms for sure. Being kind of closer to the coast, you know, we get a lot of storms when you get, you know, fronts coming off the mainland and they get hit with stuff coming off the water. But welcome back, watching. What's good, guys? So what are we looking forward to with anybody looking forward to the 30th anniversary celebration set? Anybody taking a look at that? Like the classic collection, you know, you got the crystal Lugia, you got the base set Charizard, got the Pikachu Zekrom tag team. I only got that snow like 2 years ago for the first time in my life. Yeah. Well, it's especially bad, Zach, if you guys don't have like the resources to deal with it. You know what I mean? Like if you guys have snow coming in and you can't do anything to like pre-treat the streets, and it could potentially freeze and cause ice, and if you don't have it, then you know you don't have any salt or anything to prevent the ice accumulation, then you've got big time problems. Only saw the Umbreon and Sylveon cards. Oh, those are, yeah. The ones in like the that special set. It's like the starter. It's like a dual starter deck product with the Umbreon and Sylveon SIRs. Yeah, those look cool. I'm gonna have to see if you know, the Japanese, I can get access to that. I would like, because the Japanese first partner stuff hasn't been released yet. It looks like they're not going to release those until like October in Japanese. We've got the Chinese, you know, first partners, those individual products. You get, you know, the one promo at a time. You got the first partner boxes with in English. That one I like better because, you know, at least you get all three from the set right off the bat. But these things are expensive, man. It was supposed to be like a $15 product, and it never was like less than $45. So, you know, right from the jump, selling at 300% MSRP. Like, okay, I guess I'm not getting it then. Looks like the first partner volume 3, at least in English, will release in August, so it'll probably be at least late July, maybe still August before we see that. I got one set of the volume 1 for my son. Prices shot up so fast. Yep. They did. They did, and stuff just became so hard. And then even when they, you know, it was just so hard to find in general. I've never, regardless of what the price was, I've never seen them in person. Never seen them actually on a shelf. So. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't, I don't know if they changed up kind of the stocking by me, but it's, Walmart's the only place that usually would have anything. And I've checked there when I go grocery shopping. But even if I go on, like, it used to be Thursdays and Fridays they might stock up, but they put limits on it. They've put it behind the counter now, so you can't even, like in the past, you had limits. You had a five item per like type of item, right? So like let's say if they had ETBs and sleeve boosters, I could get 5 of each of those. And they didn't have it behind the counter, so ultimately you could do several transactions of like getting 5 of whatever at a time. And I think people started to do that, so they put it behind a cash register, and then they changed the limit to 5 Pokemon products in total. 5 Pokemon products in total. I was like, man. Like, you can roll up, you can only get 5 packs. I mean, I get it. You get 5 packs at a time, but I'm like, that's tough, especially when they're like never stocking ETBs. Like, if you got ETBs, yeah, I'd take just one ETB. That'd be cool. But tough. So I really haven't seen anything there since Perfect Order. I've never seen him with any Chaos Rising stuff. And I haven't seen anything there for Perfect Order other than sleeve boosters. There's so many grown adults that camp at the stores and stand there all day waiting. There's no chance. Yep. Yeah, that's all it's become. And the reason is like you might get like at best 10% of those people are actually like opening it maybe themselves to collect or whatever. The vast majority of them are either buying it because they think they can hold on to it and then use it as an investment and sell later. What's up, Luis? What's up, man? Either that or they're buying it, you know, because to get it at MSRP and then try to flip it right away. Not much, man. Chilling. We got some more Korean stuff in. We're working with a new supplier. So the supplier was kind of like associated with our previous one. But this one, you know, goes through shipping via FedEx and that kind of stuff. They've been more responsive and the shipping super fast. I put an order in Monday here, like early Monday. They included it in their shipping in their Tuesday, and it arrived today. So You know, prices are a little bit higher. That's just kind of the Korean market in general right now. You know, it's going up. But and then we got the simplified Chinese Crystal Gathering stuff is expected to come in tomorrow. We're getting a case of booster boxes and some of the tins, a case of the tins. So I'm hoping we get a good turnout tomorrow night. I don't want to jump the gun and like make a video or something announcing it until I actually get the stuff delivered. But it's scheduled to be delivered tomorrow, so hopefully it comes earlier in the day and I can make a little video and get that posted out, and we can get, you know, get people hyped and open a lot of it tomorrow. Yeah, it's not inexpensive by any means, but it's probably the best simplified Chinese set coming out. I think it should be pretty close to how like T-Fest was with the guaranteed pulls with Pokeballs and your SAR. So, and you got the chance to pull that exclusive Sylveon SAR. So yeah, so those, and by guaranteed pulls I mean associated with the booster boxes, right? The other products, there's no guarantees. No guarantees, I think, other than the fact that you might be guaranteed like an EX per pack. The new future sets, like which one? Which ones? Like the, what's it, Emerald? Or the Rayquaza one? I haven't seen the 30th anniversary. Yeah. With the futuristic rares, with the Mewtwo and the Mew, and then you got, I guess it's gonna be like a UPC type deal. It's gonna have 2 Pikachus. So yeah, they're definitely interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing them in person. Like, I want to see what the cards. It's hard to get a feel for, you know, a card when they when it's just like on a screen, right? You can't really see the holographic. You can't really see the visual effects of it, all that. So. $400 a box for which one? Like the Pikachu one? That's supposed to have like the 2 Pikachu promos, and then like 15 packs or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be real expensive. The Gathering, the Crystal Gathering one, the like their version of the UPC with the playmat, the deck box, the Umbreon and I think it's what, Umbreon and Espeon, I think, promos, and then 15 packs of the new set is like, if I get that in, I would have to sell it for like almost $350. It's crazy expensive. So I don't know. Maybe in the next couple weeks, you know, they've priced it pretty high. So maybe the next couple weeks they're like sitting with them and might drop the price. You know, I'll have to keep an eye on it. But it is not cheap. And what's crazy is that's what the price is like right away. You know, it's not like that's the price of it right after they stop stocking that product. You know, we're talking about something that's still in print and they're still producing, and the baseline price, you know, is just so high already. Plus, I don't know how big the boxes are and how much it would cost for them to get shipped to me. I think a base, you know, no matter what or how heavy it is, no matter what size, at a minimum, the price for shipping to me, because I have UPS charges an import fee, and my zip code's considered I don't know, it's in some classification that gets me an additional surcharge. I'm in for like $200 in shipping costs right off the bat, regardless of how heavy it is. Like I could probably order a stack of single cards in top loaders, and I'm in for like $200 shipping. It's crazy. Yeah, that's the opposite. They say I live too far away, which is crazy because no other site, no other business I've ever ordered from with UPS that's domestic has ever charged me like additional shipping for my location. But my zip code falls within a certain classification. Yeah, gonna go up in the future and value. Yep. It's all just so expensive, man, you know? And I get it. It's because, you know, if there wasn't any demand, obviously the price, or if there was significantly less demand, the price would be much lower. Because you only price it at what you can move the product, you know? If I can't move the product, then I got, you know, and it sits and sits and sits, you know, you need cash flow to keep a business running and be able to like buy the new sets and that sort of thing. So then I'd have to lower the price. You know, you can't, you know, demand dictates what things can be sold with or sold for. So. Eventually leave the hobby, not because of price, but different priorities. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we all get to a point where we might still enjoy stuff from the hobby, but you know, instead of like half of our discretionary income, right, that we don't need for bills and all that, instead of spending half of it on it, you know, you start scaling back over time. You know, other things, you get other interests, all that kind of thing. Like I like to play golf, and a couple years ago, I paid a lot of money for golf lessons. I got a set of clubs fitted, which was the second time I've ever had that done. I mean, in between those two things, I mean, it's thousands of dollars. So, that's before I got really back into collecting, and then I got back into collecting, and I'd spend some money in that, and then, you know, you got to decide. It's like, okay, do I want to buy this? You know, back then I could afford a booster box for roughly how much it costs for like a round or two of golf. It's like, all right, do you want to golf this week or do you want to buy a booster box? You know, it's you pick one or the other. Maybe it's like, okay, do you want to buy that card or do you want to, you know, go to the driving range with buddies or, you know, and out to lunch and that kind of stuff. You gotta choose. The money wasn't just pouring in. Not that it is now, but you know, and then you get a house, and then priorities become, you know, fixing up the house and doing renovations there, and that costs a ton of money. So then, you know, Pokemon doesn't seem so so important at that point. I'm getting away from non-serious stuff. Yep. Yeah, I feel you. There's definitely stuff I'm interested in, but then I'm like, yeah, I'd love to have that card. Like, I love, you know, that's a really cool artwork and that sort of thing. But, you know, especially some of them when these cards, especially in English, you know, when the big hits start out at like $300+, I'm like, well, one, if I really want that card that bad, I'm not going to chase it because I'll have to pay at least 3 times that amount in the secondary market for booster boxes to try to pull it. And you know, I don't have it like that personally. I don't think most people do. I think you might see some people that are okay with using that credit card limit, you know, a little bit more liberally. I have certifications that I want to get, and I'm a huge professional person. Gotcha. Yep. Yeah, man, those things aren't cheap. I mean, a lot of those, you know, if it's like a course or a training kind of thing and an exam, I mean, shoot. I mean, usually just an exam type thing is like hundreds of dollars, and if you've got specific training or whatever you need to go through with it just to sit for the test, those can be like a couple $1,000s. So. Yeah, priorities change for sure. National Association of Safety Professionals. I'm gonna build that. Yeah. I don't care about Pokemans. Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, I mean it's a hobby. It's not what you're gonna spend a really large chunk of your life doing, right? It is fun. Yeah, of course it's fun. But yeah, you're not gonna wrap up as much funds in that as you would paying for your professional development and investing in yourself like that, because things like that pay off in, you know, how much you're making every year, and then that sets you up for the rest of your life, you know. The sooner you make more, like it can really compound your earnings trajectory if you think of it that way. You know, if you know try to advance and increase, you know, do things to increase your value as a professional, and thereby, you know, increasing your salary and that sort of thing, because that allows you more money earlier to be able to do things like invest and all that and help it grow. You know, just like they tell you, the earlier you start investing, the better, because if you invested, you know, whatever, $10, let's say $10 a week when you're right out of college and your first job, you know, that puts you in way better position as opposed to if you waited until you're 40, and you know how much you'd have to put away per month to match where you would be is like astronomical, because over decades of it compounding. So if you can maximize that and start investing earlier. Yeah. Oh, that's what everybody says, Luis, you know? That's what everybody says. You know, it's like, had I known, right? It's like, yeah, if I knew when I was 8 years old and tell my parents, it's like, hey, let's find a way to like buy a few cases of, you know, base set first edition, and we just hold on to it. It's like, look, promise, I promise, you know, we'll look back in, gosh, what would that have been? 28 years. You know, in 28 years from now, you'll be able to sell those. They'll be sealed first edition booster boxes, and y'all will be able to retire. And I can buy a house, you know? Yeah. Yeah, it's the same thing. It was funny. It was a video I was watching of a guy that I watch for like Pokemon business content type deal, and he was like, you know, people people like to say a lot of things like that, and he said exactly investing in base, um, in the base set and just buying booster boxes. He was like, yeah, if I were when I was 6 years old and could have told my parents to invest in it, yeah, sure, I'd be in way better position. It's like, but also if I knew, if I knew about Bitcoin and that taking off and just invested in that early on, I could have hundreds of thousands of dollars more than I do now. It's like, but you just don't know. So you do what you can with what you have and the knowledge you have now. There'll be something else. There'll be another Bitcoin. There'll be something else like that. So the opportunities don't go away. You can't just reside yourself to be like, man, I missed out on it then, and now I'm not even gonna bother, investing in anything. But yeah, exactly. And that's kind of like what he was saying. It was like, if you think he was comparing this to like starting a business, whether it was Pokemon or not, right? Theoretically, if you're just starting a Pokemon business now, you're doing it right at kind of a peak, right? And so that can be a deterrent for a lot of people because it's like that's it's costly to get into. It's going to be extremely hard to get like English product distribution because everybody wants it since the product is so hot. It literally sells itself. All you would have to do is have it on hand, and you could price it at least 2 times MSRP, and it'll sell no problem. So of course everybody wants their hands on it. You got stores like Lowe's and Ace Hardware, that apparently are getting easy distribution accounts and then selling stuff for 3 times MSRP. What's up, Amy? Welcome. But as far as the business stuff, you're saying, like, if you say it's like, man, I just wish, if I had known and would have started a business, like 3 years ago, I could be in, great shape, with the Pokemon business now. And it's like, okay, yeah, but that doesn't mean you can't start it now and still, like, 5 years from now, be even better off than where you were now. It doesn't preclude you from anything. So people, his point was kind of saying, like, the people that are not motivated and don't truly have the aspiration to start a business and really make that stuff work, they're gonna look at stuff like that and say, man, yeah, I should have done that back then, and then use that as like a deterrent or a reason not to start now because they didn't do it back then and missed out on an opportunity for like this giant growth period, right, over the last few years. It's like, well, okay, a lot of people missed out on it, but that doesn't mean there won't be some new innovation, there won't be some new businesses that come about and do really well. There's going to be opportunities. Like, you have to work at it. It's like, yeah, if you were moderately competent 3 years ago and got into Pokemon, then you'd probably be in a really good space and you wouldn't even have to be a very good business person. So, all right, Luis, see ya. Keep working hard, brother. What's up, Crusher? What's up, Drayden? How we doing, guys? If you're just joining us, we got a little bit of a Korean product restock with the Mega Dream and Glory of Team Rocket. So those should be up there. And then you got tomorrow. Tomorrow we are expecting... What's up, Ben? Long time no see, brother. We're expecting the simplified Chinese version of Prismatic, right? It's called... there's several names out there for it. It's either Crystal Gathering or, Terrestrial Crystal Gathering or Terrestrial Gathering, whatever. There's so many different names / interpretations of the name. Either way, we're expecting to get our delivery in tomorrow. So after the live here tonight, I'm going to make those listings to have them ready to go. And then hopefully, right, that shipment comes in tomorrow. and we can have it ready for the stream, and we can open a bunch of it, and hopefully we'll be pulling somebody or multiple people some exclusive Sylveon SARs. All right, Crusher hopping in. We got a Gen 4 box. Are we ripping for you, brother? We ripping it on the live? Ripping. All right. How you doing, man? How you doing so far this week? Not too bad. I feel you. I just need like a good night's sleep. Catch that second wind, you know, going into the weekend. So, all right. Good luck. Good luck. What's up, AJ? All right, we got Probopass, Cutiefly, Excadrill, and Wooper on first pack. Sawsbuck, Infernape, Lickitung, Chatot Stamp. Doing good, AJ. How about you? What's up, Zach? Heliolisk, Pinsir, Infernape, Grottle. Lickitung, Probopass, Fluttermane. Yeah, we're chilling, AJ. Cutiefly, Turtle, or Grottle. Jeez, I don't know why I said Eevee and Cutiefly stamp. School and work. Trying to stay busy. It sounds like you're doing a pretty good job if you're doing school and work. Are you going to school for like a certification or another degree or something like that? Relicanth, Fluttermane. Doctorate program. Sheesh. Okay. I see you. What's up, Megan? Pinsir, Cramorant, Mudsdale, Ponyta Master Ball. Yeah, doctorate programs are no joke. I don't think I'll ever do something like that. Chatot, Cinchino. I got the Masters, and you know, I think that I was tapping out after that. I was so happy to be done with that finally. Cramorant. Yeah, Ponyta, Chatot, Namorous, and Relicanth. Yeah. It's funny the things you do after, like, after I went to college, you know, did the bachelor's, right? I was like, oh man, awesome. I never have to go back to school. I never have to do anything for school again. You know, fast forward, like, about 3.5 years, and all of a sudden I'm enrolling in a master's program so I can be more competitive in the job that I was at. Ooh, what's this guy's name? This is the one I can never remember. Very cool artwork. Melton. What's up, Absence? How we doing, everybody? Welcome in. Queue is open. I like this. Oh, it's Melmetal. Gotcha. Like the sparks and stuff coming off of the workbench area. Very cool. English and Chinese. Very nice. Relicanth, Ponyta, Probopass, Enamorous. What's up, Wolfie? How we doing, everybody? Welcome, welcome. Queue's open. Currently no weight behind our guy Crusher here. Salzbuck. Whooper Stamp. My master's is in MBA in Economic Crime and Fraud Management. Fione. Melmetal. Deerling. Excadrill. But I'll be honest, like, it wasn't one of those real, like, robust MBA programs. It was online MBA through Utica College, which I think it's like Utica University now. Frostlass. They were like one of the few schools I could find out there that did a program like that you didn't have to attend in person. There weren't too many programs in general in a master's. Fione Stamp. Kind of in that area of, like, you know, not quite like forensic accounting, but more, you know, economic crime based. That's what I was looking for economic crime type programs. Infernape, Whooper, Ponyta Reverse, and the Eevee. Alright, Crusher. We got to the Fione, Whooper, Cutiefly, and Chatot on your stamped. And we got Melmetal. Yeah, some of the other program, and I was also, like, to be honest, I was looking for a program that didn't require the GMAT either. Like, at least for, like I said, the program that I was looking for, they were rare enough that there's no benefit of taking the GMAT. There's no reason to take that to place people. I mean, you obviously had to have, like, a certain GPA in your undergrad, and that qualified me. So thankfully I had a pretty solid GPA from undergrad, and with most of the programs out there, you know, kind of like let me bypass some of that stuff. Now they would take, I think some of the programs would take a GMAT testing if your undergrad GPA did not get you an exemption. But there's actually a program that looked really interesting in West Virginia University, which isn't that far away from me, but it's still like a few hours. I couldn't still work my full-time job and do the program, though. It was just going to be too comprehensive to be able to do that. But it looked really cool because they would give you, like, your, like, capstone type thing at the end was like a more comprehensive type of, almost like an investigation-ish type thing. You know, they put you in like a real life scenario, and then you'd have to execute it, but you had to be on campus for it. And I knew I just wasn't going to be able to do that. Undergrad GPA killed me at first. Glad my master's carried me over into doc. Gotcha, yeah. Alright, Castrellis. Castrellis, we got a box of Gem 4 for you as well. Are we ripping for you or sending sealed? Ripping or sealed? Ripping or sealed? Let it rip. Alright, here we go. Good luck. What's if you're okay with sharing, AJ, I don't know if you're still here. What's the doctorate program in? I wouldn't even have a clue of if I like, like let's say if I were forced to do a doctorate program, I have no idea what I would do. Never even researched it. Good luck. Good luck, Castrellis. Mudsdale, Grotto, Excadrill, Lickitung stamp. Relicanth, Snom again, Deerling Master Ball. Fluttermane, Frostlass, Lickitung. Partying too much at first to really care till later. Yeah. That happens, man. I mean, that's the thing. Like, everybody goes into college if you go to college, right? When you go in, everybody's at it like a different place maturity wise. You know, some people, you know, it's first experience being away from home, so like, you know, they're really taking advantage of that. Turkle. Yeah. Project management and human resources management. Dang, doing a double. Crazy. That's probably something like I'd have to go into if I were to do I think project/program management. I'm gonna have to look at expanding, you know, some certifications, that sort of thing. Salzbuck, Cinccino, and Infernape stamp. I think I'll be honest, like my thing is even doing like the professional certifications, and I know, you know, I've gone through the undergrad, I've gone through a grad program and doing that and working full time and all that. It's just, whoop, damn it. I revealed it. It's the Salzbuck. Salzbuck AR, very nice. This is amongst the top ARs in the set. You've got the Ponyta, which is #1. Then I think it's the Eevee, and then Salzbuck and Deerling are up there. I think around in top 5. So very cool hit. Yeah, let's see. Double hit. Double hit. Will it into existence here. Frostlass. Probopass. Cutiefly. Probopass. Snom. Grotto. Eevee. Fione. Infernape. We had a double hit in a Gem 5 box earlier. Oh, you got Cyber Search too. Nice. Trying to transition to manage people. Gotcha. Very cool. We've got Ponyta and the Salzbuck stamp. Yeah, I was a first line manager for a very short time. In a very stressful time while working for the government, and it was not a good situation. So I had an opportunity and took it for a lot more pay. So I said yes please, and then I didn't have to be a manager either. So Cutiefly, Pinsir. It's not too bad when you get a good group of people who actually want to work. It gets really difficult when you have people, and maybe this gets experienced more because it's government. So you get a government job, and then I feel like people charge a bug. Some people get a government job, and then they just settle way down. Like they they try to get by with the bare minimum. They know it's hard to like get fired, and so they're like, you know, I'm just gonna do the minimum. I'm just gonna like bide my time, cash a paycheck. And you're like, if you're trying to manage people like that, it is crazy difficult. Because you end up, yes, there you go. Let's go. Castrellis, we got you on that double hit with the Eevee. Second best hit out of the set. Huge. Very nice. Yeah, it's hard to find people that are like really intrinsically motivated. And look, I you know, you don't have to blow any smoke up. You know, my keister about like why you're there to work and all that kind of stuff. Like, you don't have to act like I'm a huge motivator and I'm a great boss or anything, but it's like I just need you to work with me. Charge Bug, Sawsbuck, Infernape, Lickitung. Sawsbuck and the Eevee on your double hit ARs from Gem 4. Alright, Gem 4. My bad. It's not terribly difficult. Feeling lucky, Strells? Alright, I'm gonna leave this open. Are we ripping that one? We can still fit some more cards in there. Yep, open it. That Eevee we've pulled, I think, 3 times now. We've had pretty good luck. We've had pretty good luck with getting them. I'd say it's based on our luck, it's been like one every case, and a case is 20 boxes, so it's not like super common, but we've pulled it multiple times, if that makes sense. We haven't gone through that many cases. All right, here we go. Another Gem 4 box, empty. Good luck, good luck. Assuming we're going for the Ponyta, if we've hit 2 of the top right there, that is, I think it would be 2 top 5. We're chasing Ponyta. Heliolisk, Ponyta, Charge Bug, Wooper. Chatot, Namorous, Snom, and the Snom right behind it. And that's very early. Maybe another double hit here. We shall see. Okay, don't count yourself out yet. What? That was what, second pack? So, a lot more to go. Snom, Torkoal, Fiona, Excadrill stamp. Relicanth, Grump, Cutiefly. Appreciate the likes, guys. Ponyta, Cinchino, Cutie Fly, Melmetal. Deerling, Fione, Torkoal, Relicanth. Melmetal, Chatot. Deerling and Deerling Stamp. Back to back. Excadrill, Chargebug, Lickitung, Salzbuck, Master Ball. Salzbuck, Infernape, Fluttermane, and Heliolisk Stamp. Wooper, Grottle, Fione, Lickitung. You know, I haven't seen the Lickitung AR in this set at all. We've never pulled that one here. Namorous, Litten, Mudsdale, Cramorant. I saw it in the card list like way back when I was first looking up the set, but never seen it in person. Excadrill, Salzbuck, Cinchino, Infernape, Wooper, Salzbuck, Excadrill. Mudsdale, Cramorant, Torkoal, Eevee. Lickitung, Heliolisk, Pinsir, Torkoal Stamp. Let's see, we got 3 packs. 3 packs left here. Cutie Fly, Minchino, Infernape, Namorous. Torkoal, Fluttermane, Cinchino, Chatot. Last pack magic here for you. Minchino, Probopass, Infernape, and Frostlass. No double hit on that one. Torkoal, Heliolisk, Deerling, and the Excadrill on our stamps to go with our Snom. Art rare. Hey, 3 hits out of 2 boxes isn't bad. That's pretty good. Plus you got 2 of the top hits. 2 of the top hits in the set. And hold on to the Eevee. Like the Eevee, like right now is probably about the value of a box. Like the market value, market price of that Eevee is about the equivalent of a box of Gem 4. So if that's the case now, and then theoretically Gem 4 gets harder to come by, you know, before you know it, that card's trending up to $50 and so on. Right, put these in your second. Appreciate you going in with us. All right, guys. I believe we're all caught up on the queue. Yep. All right, guys. So go ahead. We'll stick on for a couple more minutes here. If anybody wants to hop in, get some last minute orders in, we'll stay on and rip for you if you like. Otherwise, in about a few minutes, we'll go ahead and close her down for the evening. And we'll be back tomorrow, right? We are anticipating that shipment of Crystal Gathering coming in tomorrow. So be on the lookout, guys. Be on the lookout for an announcement. Once we get it in stock, I'll put a little... You too, Dakota. Appreciate you hanging out, chatting with us. We'll see you tomorrow. So I'll probably post a little video on TikTok tomorrow whenever we do get the shipment in, right? So I'm confirming that we do have it and it'll be available to rip on tomorrow night's stream. Otherwise, I got to pack orders and make the listings for those items. All right, guys. Appreciate you all the support, all the likes, everybody hopping in, everybody chatting with us today, coming by to see us. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Be on the lookout for our posts mentioning or confirming when we do get the Crystal Gathering set delivered, right? And we will see you later. Live again tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern time, guys. You too.